Ladies and gamers, welcome to BelleNOiRtv. My name is BelleNOiR and you are watching Cast My Game, a show where I cast your replays. If you want to send me a replay that is 1v1, at least master level both players, and it is between 10 to 30 minutes long, and you would like me to cast it, of course, because why else would you even consider sending it? You can do so by sending it to my email address, which you can find below the stream window in the stream description. The email is bellenoir@cesnam.cz with the title Cast My Game. Please do include a short description of what roughly transpired in the replays, because I like to not watch the replays so that the casts are genuine. And yeah, a short description. Tell me who the player in the replay is. Basically tell me your player name so I know which one of the players is you. And if you have any shoutouts, websites, streams, teams, anything you would like me to shout out, include those as well, and I will try to make sure I do it. So that's for the short introduction. I have a lot of things coming up in the coming week. I'm kind of pressed for time, so I'm having a little bit of trouble juggling everything and that sort of thing, because Monday I should be casting a match between Isuba Intel, which is a Czech team, the best Czech team actually, the only team that is very close to being professional in an international sense, and Isuba Academy, which is their academy team, of course. And it's going to be as a part of Czech Team League. Unfortunately, the site is not translated into into English. It's only in Czech. So non-Czech-speaking people won't be able to read anything from it or know what the standing of the teams is. But the league is currently in playoffs. 4 teams have qualified for the finals. So that's Monday, and then either Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't know the date yet, I should be doing SC2 Improve Finals Season 1 with Wardy over on his stream. This Saturday I'm attending as a viewer, of course. I'm attending the finals of the National StarCraft League here in the Czech Republic. Just wanna see what it's like, you know, because I've been staying away from the home scene for a long time. And then the next Saturday, we should have the followers tournament number 9, which is only one number away from the final tournament that is going to be in July. And then the next week, I'm starting off casting 2 tournaments. One on Wednesday, which is going to be a 12-week event every Wednesday. I'll be doing that one with Maddles, and then Friday I'm doing the UCAP Esports and Mythology Clan monthly €75 tournament. So my head is just like blowing up, especially since we have, like, you know, it's the end of the school year in my work, and since I'm a teacher, it's a lot of paperwork to do. So I don't even have time to watch the replays of the players I'm going to be casting. Sucks. But today we are in the Cast My Game episode number 21. We have a couple of replays for you today. I'm going to start the evening with a PvP on that's in German, so I don't actually know what kind of map that is. Then we're gonna continue on into a PvZ on Newkirk Precinct, and we are going to close out the show today with a TvZ on Acheron Wastes. So thanks everybody for tuning in, all the 3 people. Hey there, Daveathor in the chat, and no one else, because no one else is popping up here in my chat. So everybody watching Home Story Cup, so I'm just going to take it easy today. No, Daveathor, it's not 4 viewers, it's 3 viewers. The 4th one was me, and I paused the stream just now to avoid any lags. So I know my math, okay? I know my math. Alright, let's get right onto it. This replay is called Fun PvP for BelleNOiR #1. I have not seen it yet. And it is going to be... It's going to be Star Station. Alright, so we're going over to Star Station. And let me just check if the overlay switched. Yes, it has. Beautiful. So, here we are on Star Station, and we already see that one of the Protosses, the red Protoss, spawning in the top left, is going to be from ClanEX, the TheCreaturEX. What the... Just gonna call him Creature for simplification of things. Opposite him, in the diagonal spawn point on the map, we do have MTOS Undead, the blue Protoss. Since this is a four spawn point map, it's usually very uncommon to see proxy play here. By proxy play, what I mean by that is proxy gates or something like that. You can of course, once you find where your opponent is, you can proxy a Stargate or Twilight Council with a Dark Shrine or even a Robo and try to go for some sort of an all-in. But no proxy gates because you can't be sure where your opponent has spawned. So both players getting a gateway, one on both on 13 actually. It's just that Undead's gateway is a little bit later. And Undead, very wisely, scouting first cross map. And finding his opponent straight up. Trying to nibble away at this pylon, not going to be too efficient here. And both players only getting a single gas. And just opening up very conservatively for the time being. Creature going to scout out his opponent as well, going cross map. And yeah, cybernetic score going down for Creature. He does have one chrono boost almost on his Nexus. His opponent is one chrono boost up. This could mean that he will go for some sort of aggression because he is saving a lot of chrono boosts up and he's not taking a second gas. So probably a 4-gate or a 3-gate incoming. Second gas going down for Creature. So Creature is going to be thinking about taking up and getting a reasonably fast mothership core. So we see a second gate being added. So this is a very old opening, but the gate is a little bit later. Or should I say a little bit sooner. It should have gone down after the Stoker was queued up, but as it is, we do see a second gate and a second gas from Undead going down as well. First chrono boost being dropped onto that Stalker there. No chrono boost on the core yet, so I assume he's going to be chrono boosting out a second set of double Stalkers very shortly here. And, well, no mothership cores being built, so yeah. Both players opening very similarly so far. Let's look at the Harvester count. Actually, Creature is 2 probes ahead. That's because he spent one more chrono boost on that Nexus. And here we see that one chrono boost going down on the Stalker. Second one should be going down onto the Stalker as well. Or at least on the Cybercore, or both. But, interestingly enough, Undead is not opting to do that. Unlike the Creature, whose build, at least as far as the opening goes, seems to be much more refined than his opponent's. Creature going to scout for proxy pylons. And, you know, as we approach the 6-minute mark, if he doesn't find any pylons, he should probably know that this is not going to be an attack. If he did find any pylons, he should probably, or would probably, retreat with the Stalkers. Oh, and he's getting 2 additional Stalkers, so he's going to be pushing with 5 Stalkers. So, and his opponent is doing exactly the same thing. So very similar openings. Both players going for a Stargate. Oh my goodness. Alright, so what this comes down to is who's going to get a Phoenix first and who's going to get an Oracle first. The guy that gets Phoenix first should have the upper hand and be totally safe versus Oracle Harass. And here we go. Undead catching a couple of these Stalkers off guard, getting one Stalker there for free. Not really that brave to try to venture forward. He knows that probably there are 2 more Stalkers somewhere out on the map, but he misses them. He misses them just by a little margin, even with this probe. Oh my god, those two Stalkers still avoiding detection by Creature. And Undead, he's going to attack. Now Creature is going to be pulling back. Nice force field there, but he needs to warp him back home. And, well, he's not doing that. I think he warped somewhere else just now, but he does get the proxy pylon. And now Undead is in a little bit of a pickle here, because his units are trapped up here. And he can't really go back home safely. This, of course, gives Creature the opportunity to counterattack, because they have the same number of gateways, and half the army for Undead is up here. But right now he's getting in a clinch here. He has to retreat. Creature is getting back, loses one Stalker in the process if he micros correctly. If he keeps those Stalkers on the move, oh, bad turn there. All the shields are gone on that one Stalker. If he makes one more bad turn, he could lose that Stalker. And is he going to keep that alive? Meanwhile, the Oracle is already out for Undead, and it's making its way across the map. Undead has to be careful about the force fields. Oh, does get the Stalker and should retreat. There we go. Force field down right on time. Oracle is heading into Creature's base, but Creature, he's getting a Void Ray. If he keeps the Void Ray at his base, he will have no problem defending versus that Oracle. One more sentry being warped in here for another force field, but a little bit too late. All the Stalkers get into the base. The Oracle starts working on the mineral line. And even though this attack is being repelled, the Void Ray is not defending, but a Photon Overcharge did go down, so that Oracle did die, only getting one kill. 0 kills, actually. That's really interesting. That's very, very interesting. So, Creature is still quite fine, but he has to play this defensively. He has one Void Ray, which he has to keep alive at all costs. And the number of Stalkers for Undead is overwhelming. Creature does have Zealots here to force those Stalkers to kite, but nothing really to kill them off quickly enough. One Void Ray does not kill those Stalkers fast enough, and, well, since Creature is being contained a little bit, he's warping at this pylon, which he very smartly placed there. Second Oracle on the way for Undead. Creature is going to head with a probe and 2 Zealots over to Undead's base and try to damage his economy. Only one probe gone down so far. And if we look at the resources lost tab, we can see that those two players are not that far apart. The Zealots are making their way into the mineral line. Let's see how many probe kills they will get. Meanwhile, a second Oracle goes here. Gets 4 kills this time, so very nicely done. And these Zealots, one is a 3 kills, the other one is a 0, so it kind of evens out at this point, and we see that Undead on the minimap right here is retreating back home to try to defend this. He doesn't know if there are more weapons incoming, and oh my god, the probe kill count is rising a little bit faster than it should have, but still very good micro from Undead. Undead still does have a very large Stalker force compared to his opponent. 15 Stalkers versus 4, and 1 Void Ray and 1 Phoenix. Things are not looking good for Creature. Creature is trying to mass up on air units, even getting an Oracle of his own. He will certainly try to buy himself back into this game with some more Oracle harass. Not that it's going to work out. He's transitioning into Robo Facility as well. He's kind of afraid of Dark Templars maybe, but he does have Oracles for detection, so he shouldn't be. Maybe he's trying to go for Immortals to kill those Stalkers even faster, and then when all the Stalkers are dead, you can kind of kill the Zealots just with Void Rays. You don't even have to engage with your ground army. So the Robo is finishing up. Let's see what is going to end up popping out of there. And it does look like, well... does look like nothing so far, because Creature is all out of money. Undead finally finding this pylon is going to shoot it down, and the blink is about halfway done. So he can try to go for an attack yet again, which would be smart since he's not expanding. He's on 3 gates and a Stargate. Do we have a Mothership Core out for him? No, we don't. But this Mothership Core for the Creature does have 170 energy. And by the time this expansion finishes, it should have 200. So that's 2 Photon Overcharges that he can use to buy himself even more time. Nothing being produced out of that robo facility just yet, apart from this one observer. I can't say I agree with that. I mean, getting immortals. If you see this amount of stalkers, you pretty much have to assume your opponent is trying to go blink. So immortals are crucial in keeping you alive. Immortals and a lot of zealots. Especially when you have Void Rays. Void Rays and immortals, that's such a good combination of units versus Mass Stalker. But oh, this is a very bad position for the Creator to fight in. And the Undead, well, he doesn't have detection. He thinks that Colossus is real. So he's being a little bit careful. There goes one Photon Overcharge. Another one will be available after the first one finishes, but Undead, he's going to blink into the main. The entirety of the Stalkers are blinking in. He two-shots the Immortals, kills the Mothership Core. No Photon Overcharge for you, Creature. And I think Undead, after he tries to snipe that Void Ray off, he's going to be blinking away. The Zealots are working away on the Stalkers very, very slowly. Nice blink onto the low ground. Killing even more Stalkers on its way. Time Warp went down on the ramp, so the Zealots can't do anything versus those Stalkers. In the meantime, the Oracle has killed pretty much all of the Mineral Line here in Undead space. 26 kills on that baby, while Undead was microing. Creature was killing his base. So if Creature can hold on somehow here, he should win, because Undead doesn't have any money. It's all going to come down to his awesome Blink Micro, I hope. But look at the supply, 71 versus 35. The army supplies are very, very similar, but Undead has no economy. Income tab shows 20 minerals being mined with one probe. One probe, ladies and gentlemen. This is all or nothing for the blue player. He's utilizing the power of Micro. He's trying to do what he can. Kiting back. Once he gets rid of the Stalkers, though, it should be a non-issue. Aggressive blink forward, picking off 3 Stalkers there, and a Sentry. I think Undead should have this. Creature is not warping in as many units as he should have, quite frankly. And another blink forward, not the best one though, but the Stalker size is heavily in favor of Undead. Another blink onto the high ground should do it, and there we go. The last of the Stalker will fall just now. Probes are being pulled off the line, and I think Undead, despite the odds, might win this game. Needs to blink the Stalker out of there, fails to do so, kites back the probes, and there is absolutely nothing remaining for the Creature. He's got a lot of minerals, but has not been warping in units, so the army size is heavily in favor of Undead. 20 supply to 12. And what are the probes going to do? He's losing a lot of probes as a result. 35 probes killed so far by Undead. And even though he does not have any economy, he doesn't even have money to warp in one measly Stalker. He's lacking 2 gas. How is this going to end out? Let's look at the unit count. 1 Oracle that doesn't even have enough energy. It's constantly killing the probes. It should be frankly helping out the probes here. I wouldn't mind that. And well, 14 probes, 13, and dropping 1 Stalker and 1 Zealot holding the line versus 8 Stalkers of his opponent. The APM for these players is just ramping up to unseen heights before. Absolutely insane game we are witnessing right here. Undead is going to do it. He is going to win. He's going to win with 0 mining, only 4 probes remaining, and a Stalker. Undead, if he walks inside his base, he's going to kill him. He just needs to kill off these last remaining units. Zealots will turn out to be not an issue. Another blink back. He needs some time to regenerate those shields. And both players are practically mining absolutely nothing at this point. The Creature doesn't even want to warp in any additional units. He has to save at least 50 minerals just in case to warp in a probe. But with the last Stalker falling, he is defeated and he taps out of the game. Pretty intense game. Pretty intense. I love games such as these. Alright, let's go into game number 2. Hello there, PEX. Hello there, Mech. Dude, it's so hot in here. I'm not gonna take off all my clothes, but I'm gonna drink all my energy drinks. You know why? Because if I didn't, then I would fall asleep. My blood pressure is really low when it's hot. And water is not going to help me. Trust me. I tried it. I actually passed out on a street once. And it was not even that hot. I was 15 and it was like 28 degrees outside or 30 something. So it's not that hot considering it was summer. And me and my friend, we just were walking through the city. I don't remember, we were probably heading towards somewhere. And as we were walking through a market, you know, an open market with stalls and stuff, I just suddenly, like, we were talking, and I just suddenly, like, lost consciousness and slammed face front onto the pavement, just like that. So it was then when I realized that it would be in my best interest, and it would be in my well, basically, it's healthier for me to drink coffee because it keeps my blood pressure at a level where I am able to operate to at least a decently efficient degree. And it's not because I'm like, you know, I became addicted to coffee and I can't do anything without it. It's because without coffee I can't do anything. So, like, my mother had the same problem. I probably, like, inherited the trait after her. She even had, like, coffee prescribed by her doctor. She never drank coffee before, and when she was like 19, her doctor said, well, miss, you gotta start drinking coffee from now on because your blood pressure is really low for your height and for your mass. So if you don't want to have problems, you should start drinking coffee daily, like at least 1 cup. So if the doctor says that, you know. Right, let's go into game number 2. Here is going to be Daveathor versus Lithium on a Newkirk Precinct. We have Daveathor in the chat. So hope Daveathor will enjoy the cast of this game. Alright, Newkirk Precinct. And on the left side we do have the red Zerg, Lithium. His opponent is going to be the blue Protoss, Daveathor, aka the Kappathor, because I don't know if you know this, guys, but Daveathor started a tradition in the BelleNOiRtv chat channel by spamming as many Kappa icons as he's able. And so I would like to say a couple of things about Daveathor as a player. Basically, for those who saw at least 1 or 2 followers tournaments where Daveathor played in, he's greedy as fuck. And I'm not saying this, you know, as an insult, but he's greedy as fuck. He's like the red of Protoss. You know, liquid red? So Daveathor is the liquid red of Protoss race. Like, if he can get away with getting 3 bases on 1 gateway and not stacking up nor building any units, he will. And if you don't stop him, he's gonna roll you. Because, you know, especially in a PvZ matchup, because most Zergs are not being aggressive early on. So Daveathor always taking full advantage of that. And we can see the evidence of this as he's going with a Nexus first. Of course, he did scout the pool timing, so he should be getting a Forge directly afterwards, and should not be blocking this hatchery off. With a pylon, that is. It's okay if he blocks with a probe, and he's doing a great job of doing so. 200 APM here for Daveathor. Daveathor, you devil, you. He's going to get the Forge, though. And, well, should be careful of not letting this probe die. There we go. The hatchery finally going down. And no Zerglings being produced despite the spawning pool being down. So Lithium playing greedy as well. He doesn't even know if this was a Forge first or a Nexus first, but he prefers to get drones before Queens or Lings. He really wants to ramp up his economy early on very, very quickly. And ooh, look at this, a third base without any Lings in production nor Queens. This has got to be like the fastest third base ever without a gas for the Zerg. So Daveathor, he's getting a gateway, of course. He'll be getting double gases very, very shortly here. Already has the cannon in production. Let's go, Daveathor. Let's go, Daveathor. There we go. The second gas. And, well, still, only just now. Look at this. Look at this. Lithium only just now getting Zerglings. I mean, what if your third was cannon rushed? What would you do? Well, I guess I'd cancel. But the natural is completed. The third base will be complete in about 30 seconds or so. And Daveathor, very smartly, has hidden this probe. He's going to rescout the third base. He really wants to know if it has gone down, and he sees that it has. Those Zerglings missed the probe, but oh, they're onto it. They're onto it. They're going to catch it. They're going to catch it, and that is a good thing for Lithium, because as a Zerg player, you don't want any proxy pylons or any pylons whatsoever on your side of the map. And Dave, well, he's just getting his Zod. He's getting his Warp Gate tech, and practically dumping no Chrono Boost onto his Nexuses. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Bad Daveathor. Now he's not getting a +1, which practically says, well, this is not going to be an attack build. This is not going to be a pressure build, at least not with gateway units. And indeed, we do see the Stargate going down. Was it seen? I don't think it was seen. No. So he's getting the Stargate, and should be taking additional gases shortly here. So let's see if he gets a Void Ray or a Phoenix out of there. Maybe he will try to open up with an Oracle, which is also viable, but not as much. Speed going down for the Zerg player in the meantime, so he really wants to maintain map control. A good thing on a map such as this, Nuclear Precinct, if you take a look how far the expansions are spread out from each other and how big of a map this is, it's a really good thing to have link speed quite reasonably fast. So this is going to finish in about 8-minute mark, and we see Phoenix is being produced out of the Stargate. So Daveathor going for a little bit of that harassment. Ooh, a macro hatchery being built by Lithium. So this kind of tells me that he wants to go for some sort of Ling style or Ling based style. You know why I think that? Because Ling armies are very, very larva heavy. And if you want to produce a larva-heavy army, you want to get that macro hatch very, very fast, or even decently fast. Double Evo chamber being built as well, and a lair in production already. So we can kind of see that the only gas being invested so far on the Zerg side is the link speed and the lair. Probably melee upgrades and carapace upgrades will be going down as soon as those evos finish. And a Baneling Nest, that's a very interesting choice. A Baneling Nest going down. 3 additional gateways on the Protoss side being added on, and continuous Phoenix production. We already have 3 on the field. A 4th one will be joining them very, very shortly. Do we have any spores being built inside the mineral lines? Doesn't look like it. That's a mistake by Lithium, I have to say. There's one spore crawler here, but he really should have additional ones in the main mineral lines. Even a 5th Phoenix being built. Is Daveathor going for Sky Toss? Interesting. Interesting, very interesting. 5 additional gates and a Twilight Council, so this might turn out to be some sort of a... Does he have +1? Yes, he has. So this can transition very well into some sort of a mass stalker +2 blink play, or potentially Charger Archon. And Daveathor, he's thinking about pushing. He's even getting air weapons level 1, so this is all very interesting, but air weapons level 1, that's a good thing if you're planning on taking a third base, but from what Daveathor is building as for infrastructure, it doesn't look like he really wants to be building a third base. The Speedlings do get a surround on the Gateway Army, the Stalker is being saved by a lift from the Phoenixes. Nice job there, but it's not gonna last, Phoenix. I'm sorry, you'll have to cancel. There we go. More Zealots being warped in though, the Queen's being lifted up, but the Zealots are being surrounded by the Lings and will clean them up. So a decently effective attack so far. 40 or so more Lings in production. The Spore Crawlers will go down, and once those spores are down, those Phoenix will have no problem whatsoever killing the Queens. The drones are being evacuated from the third base. Additional 10 Lings being produced, and well, Daveathor sees that there are only Lings in production, so he should be just fine building only Zealots versus this. The upgrades are finishing up for the Lings. The Care base is finished, so that is going to help out moderately. The third base is going down for the Zerg. The charge is very, very close to being done. And Templar Archives is being built on the Protoss side of things. A lot of Overlords are going down right now, not supplying block the Zerg yet. But with Sentries and Zealots, well, Daveathor has a lot of pushing power. Banelings finally morphing, but they're not the best unit to trade versus Zealots because Zealots have a high amount of hit points. With these Sentries, the ramp needs to be force fielded one more time. Do it, Dave! No, you let those Sentries die like a mofo. Never mind. But all the Queens are dead. And remember what I said about Link-based armies? They're very, very larva-heavy. They're very larva-dependent, so losing Queens in this situation for Lithium is a huge deal because he's depending on the Link production so much. That means he's depending on larva injects so much, and by losing those Queens, well, his army is going to be like 1/3 of the size it could have been. Look at the bank. He just doesn't have any larva. He doesn't have any larva to lose all of that bank. More Banelings are being morphed in. But the Phoenix size is still untouched. Daveathor is even getting shield upgrades and getting a third base. He does have the Templar Archives finished, so he can start morphing in Archons whenever he chooses. And Archons are pretty good. The only thing I would love to see is +2 attacks going down for the Protoss. It would be very, very, very effective. Oh, are we going to see lifts on those Banelings? Archons! Do it, Archons! No! Only one Archon being morphed and it will be taken out. Maybe. No, those Lings are cowards. They are running away. Maybe Lithium is thinking about counter-attacking while Daveathor's units are over here. Does he have a Mothership Core anywhere out on the field? No, he forgot about the Mothership Core entirely. These cannons are probably going to go down. Oh, never mind. It's enough to take out a pylon and then you don't have to worry about the cannon. So the third base is effectively denied at this point in time. Lithium did get another one over there, but his natural is under siege the whole time. 56 probes versus 60 drones and only Lings out on the field, and not that many of them. 36 Lings, that's not enough to take down 12 Zealots. This Zealot is being a hero, killing as many probes as he can, trying to target them down even, but only getting 4 kills. Still, Daveathor putting a lot of hurt onto the Zerg. But now, when these Lings come back, they could take out these Zealots if they do get a surround and if they micro properly. But no, Lithium not really doing that. Oh my god, needs to stay out of that range of the Archon. Pulls back the Lings just in time. 52 Lings versus 12 Zealots and 1 Archon. More being warped in though. Let's see if Daveathor has enough to take this out. It looks like it. 4 Archons, that's a force to be reckoned with. And once the additional Zealots arrive, he should take this out no problem. 20 Lings on the field versus 5 Zealots and 2 Archons. Things are not looking good for the Zerg player here by any means whatsoever. 2 Spine Crawlers as a result being built at the natural base. Storm going down just now for Daveathor. And no transition options so far for Lithium. He's getting an infestation pit, realizing that hey, if I can get a fungal onto those Zealots and Archons, I should be good, right? I should be good. because, you know, there are no stalkers with this army. Oh, the Banelings! The Banelings! The Banelings! No! Why would you blow up onto the Archon? And I don't think that that's enough Banelings to take out all of this army. Oh, it doesn't look like it. And even more Zods are being warped in by Daveathor. Supplies are showing 73 versus 94, 27 army supply versus 38, and 46 to 56 workers. Daveathor in a well, not in a huge lead, but he's starting to get a very nice lead here economically. Double expanding. Another run by will be attempted by Lithium. Will he be successful, as Daveathor is trying to push his natural yet again? With those Spinecrawlers though, and this amount of links, if he engages near the Spinecrawlers, he should be just fine. The Storm is about to finish though, and these two Templars, well, they are going to have energy for Storm, at least one of them. Nice warping in that pylon by Daveathor, preventing that run by, but the third base had to have been cancelled. Does the Zerg know about the other one? No, he doesn't. His natural is being pushed again, and he has to defend. Trying to engage near the Spinecrawlers. One of them was taken out, Glider Reconstitution coming in, so he's going to switch into Roaches, thinking that, hey, this might be a better choice. Roaches have way more hit points than the Lings have. Still having a huge bank, and despite that, not continuing his upgrades, that's a bad thing. Those Lings already do have 2-2, so he would need a hive for that. He does have the Infestation Pit, so he could have queued that one up, but kind of preoccupied with staying alive at the moment, to be quite honest. So, very action-packed game. While all of this is going on, Daveathor's third base over here just finished. He just needs to transfer drones, probes over there. He's got 56 of them. The economy is very equal here. Very similar. Finally, the first batches of Roaches are coming out. Plus 3 attacks being queued up by Daveathor, and he's moving into Void Rays as well, because there is nothing that shoots up so far in the composition for Lithium. He does have the option to go Infestors if he chooses so, and I'm a little bit surprised he already hasn't. Now, will we see Stalkers being warped in? With plus 3 attack and potentially Blink being researched, they would be really, really effective versus those Roaches. No, it's not gonna happen, and right now all the proxy pylons and the ground RB has been cleaned up, which means Daveathor will have to go into ultra defensive mode. And Storms, let me tell you, are not the best thing you want to be having against Roaches, because they have a lot of hit points, 145 hit points. They can wither 2 Storms no problem, and they do have regeneration. And finally the Zerg player finds out about the space, so he's probably going to take that down. And I don't think there's much that Daveathor can do about it. Oh, scratch that! If he lifts up enough Roaches and lands good Storms, there's one decent Storm going down onto those Roaches. A second one will be needing. The Void Rail will be instrumental in defending versus this. Whoa! Huge misses there from the Dark Templars. They need a couple of glasses, or at least somebody who would target the enemy for them, because they're not doing the best job. Nexus only some 300 hit points away from dying. And I think that the Zerg will end up taking this base out. Meanwhile, he is expanding again to the third location here as the Nexus blows up. And should be going into drone production very shortly here, as he's getting a hive and a hydrogen as well. Those Roaches, let me tell you, one thing to point out, they don't have attack upgrades. So they are very slow in taking out any units, and that's very good if you decide to warp in Stalkers with Void Rays. It's very good. Because the Stalkers have a higher chance of surviving. So Daveathor going yet again into harassment mode, trying to kill as many workers as possible. 24 and rising. And like I said, Lithium going back into mass drone mode. He does have 4 hatcheries finally. Has he rebuilt those queens? Yes, he has. So he's playing very well, and he is stabilizing while he is preventing additional bases for the Protoss to go down. The main for Daveathor is completely mined out. Not a single mineral patch remaining. The same for the natural, and the Zerg is on 4 bases. What is Daveathor going to do? He doesn't have additional bases. He has no income. So, I guess, time to all in. Now, Lithium saw this. He saw this. And frankly, he should be getting as many Infestors as possible. He's getting Hydras though, which is not the best response versus this, especially because there is no creep. Muscular Augment's finished though, and Grooved Spines being queued up just now. I really want to see Infestors right now. I mean, there is nothing with enough range here to kill them. Hydras can protect the Infestors versus Phoenixes, and you can fungal a lot. Even drones being pulled off the mineral line from the natural and the main. Lithium really does not want to lose this, but the Hydras are not in the best position. Link's trying to go and flank from the bottom, but look at this. Probes buffering just enough against those Hydralisks for Phoenixes, Void Rays, and Archons to do all the work. Even a lot of those probes still staying alive. 34 probes heroes in this army, trying to drive back the Hydralisks. More units in production for Lithium, but that is barely enough. He doesn't have enough minerals to build units that would counter this army effectively. Phoenixes are all out of energy though, so it's going to come down to the Void Rays and the Archons. And look at this, everything is falling for Lithium. Daveathor, as unlikely as it may have sounded just a couple of minutes ago, is probably going to take out the natural and maybe even the main base. That's 3 hatcheries that are going to be taken down, and the entire tech of the Zerg is here. If that works, he will be left with this base, which counts at a silly 13 drone count, and no tech at all. What are we witnessing here? Look at all that larva not being able to be morphed into anything. Except Infestors, of course, which I still can't for the life of me understand why Lithium did not go for Infestors sooner. And there we go, the natural base is taken down. Daveathor with 53 minerals and over 1.6k gas banked up. With 4 Archons, 2 Void Rays, 23 probes and 7 Phoenixes, is fighting the battle of his life. Very smart choice going for that tech. And Phoenixes, well, they are regenerating energy right now. And while Daveathor is taking out the main of the Zerg, those Phoenixes are going to start, or should start, looking for additional bases elsewhere, because I mean, if the Zerg had enough to try to defend, Daveathor would know, or would have known, by witnessing a run-by towards his natural at precisely this time. That would have been the smartest thing to do. And since that is not happening, Daveathor has to assume that the Zerg is only down to 1 base. And hopes to defend with Hydras. So once he should actually take all of these structures down, specifically the tech structures. And then all of these extractors here. Now, one thing I'm curious why it hasn't happened yet is why there are no spine crawlers here. I mean, Daveathor could very well just move with what he has up here, up this ramp, and he would probably succeed in killing this base entirely. Between the Phoenix lifts, the Void Ray's prismatic alignment, and the tanking ability of the Archons, and the splash, of course, he would probably be able to take this out. So, last minerals of Daveathor being used to build a couple of High Templars. Daveathor is probably going to wait for... Oh, he does have storms available already. And, well, so far, for the time being, with those 23 hero probes, some of them are having even kills on them. Look at this, 1 kill. Where do we have another probe with a kill? 0 kills. Come on, show me a hero probe. Oh, some of them do. Some of them do, trust me. So he's distance mining until such a time that he does have 400 minerals, and then he's going to build an expansion here. And it looks like Lithium says, well, he's not attacking me, so he has to be rebuilding. I gotta kill him. Even Daveathor asking, should we do one final battle? And he's like, okay, let's do it. Daveathor, instead of getting a Nexus, being the honest and honorable guy, He's getting Templars and getting more Archons. 7 Archons, that's a lot of firepower. And they even agreed to battle it out in the mid. 1 Mist Storm for Daveathor. And an attempted flank, a roach flank from the right side, but Daveathor, I think he's got too much. The Lithium is bringing drones. Storms are raining down on everything, hitting all the drones, and right now, more storms going down, missing most of the army, but I think it is going to be enough. Phoenixes are lifting up what they can. The Archons, 1 Archon already fell, the second one will probably survive, and all the Hydras have been taken out, and there's the GG and har har from Lithium. Games like these don't happen that often. So let's go into the final game, and after that, after I upload the VOD on the YouTube, I should be laddering, so if you want to watch, you are welcome to do so. I suck though, I warn you. The last game is going to be a ZVT on Acheron Wastes. And it's a Grandmaster level player versus a Master. I think it's from the American server though. So I'm not expecting too much of this. And here we are on Acheron Wastes, spawning in the bottom right. We do have the red Terran player DeathRow. And his opponent is going to be the blue Zerg WinHail. So this replay was submitted by WinHail, aka Burnhead. Now, regarding this map and TVZ, Acheron Wastes is probably one of the very few maps that you can effectively go mech on versus Zerg. And if you want to know which one of these guys is the GM, it is the Terran player DeathRow. DeathRow from NG, he is the GM in this match. So WinHail looks like he wants to go for a hatchery or a pool first. Probably going to be a hatchery first, I have to assume. Oh no, it's going to be a gas first. Cool. I was just about to say that it is a little bit risky, given the current state of meta for the TVZ matchup, to go hatchery first. So WinHail getting a gas first, so definitely aggressive possibilities opening up already for him. Or even just a very solid defense with the potential of transitioning into a 2-base all-in if he sees the turn player doing something really wonky. And ooh, DeathRow. You cheeky little bastard, getting a command center first. Now, it's going to be some time before WinHail scouts this. Of course, he's just going to be getting 4 Zerglings just to be safe. Maybe 2, maybe 4. I would guess 4. And then after he mines 100 gas, he's going to pull these drones off from gas, get a link speed in this pool, and then just continue to drone for a little while more until he saturates the mineral lines at his natural expansion. Gas going down shortly after the barracks has been put down for WinHail, for DeathRow, and only now he's going to scout. So, I don't know, already being WinHail, you gotta be at least a little bit suspicious by not seeing a single scout out of the Terran player. Because usually you do see a scout. Usually you do. So this is a command center first build, which means when the barracks finishes, 2 command centers, 2 command centers are going to morph into an orbital command at the same time. We see that the Terran does have 300 minerals to do so. One is being morphed right now, the second one will be morphed shortly, and marine production will follow suit. Now here is the question, will we see a mech transition or will we see a bio transition? Given the opening, I would assume it is going to be bio. Ultimately, it's going to be bio. I mean, when you're getting when you're getting a command center first, that means all your army tech is going to be delayed. You don't have any harassment options. You can't go Reapers, you can't go Hellions, because there are going to be Queens, most probably even speed finish for the Zerg by the time the Hellions get over there. So you pretty much should go with a bioplay, maybe Widowmine defense or something of the sort. And we do see that there is a reactor being built onto the racks and a factory going down. And this wall-off better complete on time. It better complete on time, because I just saw 14 or so lings on the way. So this is not meant to kill the Terran player. It's meant to deny the natural base from mining, thus nullifying all the advantage that WinHail, that DeathRow wanted to get out of this. It will take more lings than these, though. He could run by, though. He doesn't even have to attack the bunker, but he is doing so. And the bunker is going to fall. One SCV or two SCVs, not enough to repair that. The bunker is down. The natural base will be denied momentarily here and is being relocated to the top side. Meanwhile, a tech lab going down for the barracks, and Hellions are being produced out of the factory. So, well, not the best opening from DeathRow, or should I say WinHail correctly identifying what his opponent was doing and just punishing it in the best way possible. So the Hellions are up. The Hellions are on the field, so the lanes will have to be a little bit careful. But look at this. We do have, if you look at this from the Zerg perspective, we do have a sizable link force out on the map. So if he keeps an eye out on how many Hellions are moving out of the Terran base, he can produce more lings at the exact opportune time and just kill those Hellions off and not incur any losses whatsoever. So as a result, we have a lair going up for the Zerg player. No evolution. Oh, there we go. Evolution chambers being built and a roach worm forming partially a wall, forcing the Hellions to go around here, getting into the fire range of the Queen. So kind of a smart play. There is a hole here, though, but it can be blocked very easily with a Queen. 5 Hellions, 6 Hellions decides to venture out onto the map. And it looks like that, at least for the mid-game, WinHail is going to be depending on roaches and potentially even Hydras. He's getting +1 ranged upgrades and +1 carapace. And, well, first roaches are in production. They are going to be instrumental in defending versus these Hellions. How many drones will end up being roasted? 5 and counting. So, DeathRow doing the correct thing here, trying to mitigate the damage he sustained from that Ling run-by, not being able to mine from the natural base and losing a couple of SCVs there. So he pretty much cleans up the entire mineral line here of WinHail in the natural. This was way more effective than it had any right to be. Meanwhile, he's getting tanks, he's getting a 3rd CC, he's getting upgrades for his infantry, such as the stim. And, well, WinHail, he could try to go for some sort of roach counterattack right now. He's even getting road speed, but I don't really think it is going to be all that effective. The 3rd is not yet being landed, and it's going to take some time before it is. And, well, DeathRow, he's getting a very interesting composition of Widow Mines and tanks, so he's going to be fairly safe versus any kind of aggression, as long as his siege tanks are correctly positioned and the Widow Mines are actually down below the ramp, not on top of it. So let's see, more roaches coming out from Camp WinHail, and you know, this is quite a lot of roaches. We see that he's still only on 27 drones compared to 42 SCVs of his opponent. That's a really bad situation. So, in order not to lose the game in the long run, he has to do tremendous amounts of damage right now. There's a couple of bunkers here for DeathRow. So, like I said, he needs to position the Widow Mines below the ramp and be ready to repair at a moment's notice, like right now. Is he going to pull the SCVs? Yes, he is, but the one bunker immediately falls. The roaches are getting very, very close to the tanks. They are going to take out both of them. No tanks on the high ground means that as soon as these bunkers are down, the roaches are going to reign supreme. One bunker falls with a marauder inside it, and the roaches are going into the main base. More being rallied, followed up by 18 links that are already in production. And DeathRow, well, he's going to camp the production of WinHail is going to camp the production of DeathRow for a little bit here. The wall has been rebuilt though, and the widow mines are recharging. So these roaches eventually should get cleaned up with the help of a couple of infantry units, maybe a tank, and SCVs being pulled. But the damage is being done by DeathRow. DeathRow, though, he's not getting back to drones. He's still staying only on... I mean, DeathRow. Why do I keep confusing these two guys? WinHail, of course. The Blue Zerg is still staying only on 27 drones. He should be getting back into dronage. Actually, should have gone back into dronage the previous larva cycle. But he did build additional units as well. Well, the good thing is that nothing can come out of the natural base and threaten him as long as those lings are there. The roaches in the main base of DeathRow still alive and still trying to kill as many SCVs as they can. 28, 30, and this is what he needs to kind of equalize the game. Look at this, 40 drones! All of a sudden, 40 drones versus 21 SCVs. It was the exact opposite just 2 minutes ago. So WinHail, this attack by him, very, very effective. Now that being said, there are 3 command centers for DeathRow. So he should be able to ramp up that SCV count very, very shortly. And but yeah, he doesn't have any option so far to move out because he doesn't have the economy to support any kind of push. He doesn't have pushing power. And WinHail, he's taking full advantage of this, getting a Spire, getting a Baling Nest, continuing his upgrades. We are seeing that he is moving into Carapace level 2. And well, he has yet to decide if he's going to go melee upgrades or ranged upgrades out of those Evo chambers, because so far he's only getting Carapace, but that tells us nothing or very little. DeathRow adopting a very heavy defensive mindset. You can just see by the positioning of his siege tanks, his unwillingness to float the 3rd command center down to its location. And well, basically the only way he can put hurt onto the Zerg right now is via drops, while he's rebuilding his economy. And he also realizes that he can't fall back too far behind in upgrades, so he's getting an armory and plans on continuing his infantry upgrades over to 2-2. Spire is finishing, and we have 600, 700 gas already banked up. Should be 800 by the time the Spire finishes. So probably 8 Mutalisks or so are going to be built straight away, and they're going to be used for harassing the economy of the Terran even more. WinHail knows that he equalized the game on the econ side. The damage he sustained in the early game was more than paid back for with his Roachling attack onto his opponent. And indeed, we do have 7 Mutalisks out on the way and an infestation pit going down. A little bit prematurely, so maybe he wants to rush to Ultralisks straight after this. And he is going into melee upgrades, so he wants to go into Ultras as a late game composition. Ultra, Ling, Baneling, Mutalisk, maybe Infestors, and a 4th and 5th base. That's what he's going for right now. Has to be careful not to lose all of the mutas! Ugh. That was close to the mines. The Banelings are finishing just in time to deal with those tanks. Has to be careful not to... Oh my goodness! All the Widow mines, the Zerglings do blow up. And the Banelings, they do have speed, but they are getting blown to smithereens by the tanks. And I think these Banelings might... these Lings might be just cleaned up. And yes, they are only 3 Mutalisks remaining. They are going to kill these mines and force the tanks to retreat because there are no Marines to support them. But that was one of the worst trades I have ever seen for a Zerg player to happen, I have to say. That wasn't good at all for the Zerg player. But he does have a large bank, and if he injects properly, he should be able to reinforce very, very, very quickly. Let's see how the infrastructure for the Terran player is looking. Well, he's got 5 racks, 2 with Reactor and 3 with Tech Labs. So he seems to be pretty good. So +1 melee upgrades only just now finishing. 2-2 is more than halfway done for the Terran player, and well, he's getting additional factories, so we see a transition in the making here. Wonder if he's going to start adding on Hellbats. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind, to be quite honest. Hellbats are very, very beefy, but he should not forget to keep building them Marines, just because of the threat of Mutualisks. Because you can't rely on Widow Mines to get rid of all the mutas all the damn time. Fourth base is done for WinHail. The Terran player still staying on 3 bases. His main is going to be mined out quickly here, and the Zerg player should be taking an additional base in a fairly quick fashion as well. Oh, beautiful scan there by DeathRow as the Mutalisks do enter his base. Oh, nice micro there by WinHail, saving that one muta from dying. The Marines are coming to the rescue though, trying to save those engineering base from dying with a stim. And well, this base is pretty much secured, at least for the time being, versus any kind of Mutalisk harass. As WinHail tries to build up an army of Banelings and Lings back home. He's just going to be using those Mutalisks to defend versus potential drops, to keep his map presence. I mean, look at this. Look at his vision. He sees absolutely everything out on the minimap. Look at what the Terran sees. That's the difference. And even though the supplies are quite close, I have to say the upgrades are heavily in favor of the Zerg player. He's transitioning into Ultra play. And, well, this army is not that mobile. I mean, you do have Hellbats, right? But only a couple of tanks. That's not going to be good versus that amount of Banelings. There's a lot of Marines, but very few Marauders in this composition. Which means once those Ultralisks come out, they are going to be very, very, very effective versus what the Terran is having right now. But the Ultralisks are still 1 minute away from being done. And currently there is no money for Ultras. So, yeah. Oh, but this is a very nice position for WinHail to engage in. He's forcing the Terran to move through a choke point. And the Lings are coming in. The tanks are not sieged up yet, which means the Banelings could do crucial amounts of damage. Look at them Banelings go, and they're blowing up on everything, even taking out the Thor. All the Marine splits not being enough. The majority of the Terran army is being taken care of. Mutalisks are still in the air, and they should have no problem killing these few Marines. There they do, and go down. The tanks will be taken out as well, all in one swipe. And DeathRow in a little bit of a trouble here, as we do have Ultralisks entering the field of battle. WinHail taking a very cost-effective engagement, unlike the previous one with the Widow Mines, and immediately using that freed-up supply to populate it with Ultralisks. The chitinous plating is on the way, and level 3 carapace upgrade as well. So after taking this base, and maybe even probably this base, WinHail will be maxing out, and basically, well, I don't know about attacking. I don't know if it's the best option, but yeah, sure, why not? He just killed the entire army of the Terran player, so he should be able to take out at least one base, maybe this one, especially since it's not a planetary fortress. Let's look at the upgrades, guys. It's 3-3 for the Terran player. He's got +2 on the vehicles. And the Zerg player is on decent upgrades himself. 2-2 on the Ultralisks, +2 on the Mutas, and he's got all the upgrades for the Banelings and Lings. Apart from Adrenal Glands, which he really should have gotten as one of the first upgrades ever. And the income is quite comparable for both of these players as well. DeathRow realizing he's probably going to need another base very, very soon. But WinHail is already maxed, and I think he's gonna go for it. He's got 6 Ultras with this army. A hell of a lot of Banelings. How many Banelings is that? 40 Banelings? Are you kidding me? 16 Mutas just to take care of medevacs and tanks. and drops. And thanks to his phenomenal map presence, he sees everything. The MTOS are already in position to intercept this drop. Now he sees it, he should turn around with the MTOS, and he does. And the medevacs are going to go down before they unload. Boom! And he can say, easy. Second drop being unloaded at the 4th base, though. WinHail has to keep this base alive. No kidding. And he does. He did lose a couple of workers, maybe 2, maybe 3. But this is a really nice move by DeathRow. He's sending the drop over here to the 3rd base while he's pushing the 5th or 4th, should I say. And the 4th base might go down before WinHail is able to defend. But at the same time, DeathRow's army is trapped. It's being flanked from behind. A lot of banelings blowing up onto the siege tanks' shells. But the entirety of the army has just been taken out. And I think this is going to be defended in a quick fashion, but crucial buildings in the meantime are being taken out. The Ultralisk Cavern, the Infestation Pit, the Spawning Pool, and I have to say, WinHail, after taking out this drop, he should counterattack immediately because he has no means of replenishing this army with anything except for roaches. He did manage to use up all of his larvae before the crucial structures went down, the Spire being the only thing that is surviving, and he is going for the counter straight away. That's a very smart decision to do. 9 more Mutolisks and over 20 Lings are on the way for him as well. Is this a scare tactic? And, well, he really wants to take out at least one of the Terran's bases. I don't know if this one is the best one to take out. He definitely knows that there is another base over here, so he should have been going over there and taking that out. But, oh my god, look at how many SCVs will go down. Over 70 SCVs killed count this game. Almost. And, well, there's almost 0 Marines here, so the Ultras will, the Mutalisks will reign supreme. 11 more on the way. WinHail playing this so smartly. He's being so clever about this, paying attention to what his opponent has, what kind of composition he's producing, and right now, not a single unit will be surviving, moving from those barracks. The Mutalisks will see to that while the tech is being rebuilt for WinHail. The spawning pool already has been rebuilt. The Lings are being rallied on everywhere. And WinHail, well, he just might be in a position to take this game. I mean, there's almost nothing DeathRow can do. His production is being camped. Nothing is going to get out of those buildings, even if he did have the money to build anything. And there's the LOL. I guess that's the new way of saying GG. So, that was it for today. I'm going to be uploading the VOD right now. Hello there, all you YouTube people. And yeah, a lot of stuff coming your way. From me, so if you want to stay updated, and I would really recommend you that you did, because those events I'm going to be doing or start doing in the next 2 weeks are going to be freaking awesome. So if you want to stay up to date, just follow me on Twitter or like me on Facebook. That way you won't miss anything. So to recap, we have 1 or potentially 2 clan wars coming your way, casted by me and Jesse, aka Vocal Terrorist, or Voctor, over from the UK. Then we have Followers Tournament number 9 next week, Saturday. Then we have UCAP Clan Mythology monthly tournament starting first Friday in July. And then we have weekly tournaments by Definitive Esports, which is going to be cast by me and Maddles. And that's starting first Wednesday, July. I'll keep you posted on the details, and until we see each other next time, just stay safe, good luck, have fun, and remember to storm first and ask questions later. Hope you like the cast.